end of debate on the general principle for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of 1999, it's mandatory for elections for presidential, gubernatorial, and chairmanship officers to undergo primary elections with their running mates for other related matters. Members will recall that the bill was first time on April 2016. I now invite Honorable Olatoye that the bill be now read as a.
My names are Honorable Dr. Temitope Sugar, representing Federal Constituency, Ibadan. This is a bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, to make it mandatory for candidates running elections for presidential and gubernatorial offices to undergo primary elections with their running mate and for other related matters.
Any second?
My name is Abdurrahman Shuaibu, representing Mubi North, Mubi Federal Constituency of Adamawa State. I rise on that the for the second time I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Sugar, second Mr. Speaker.
Names are Honorable Temitope Sugar, representing good people of Olatoye Federal Constituency, Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. This is just a forward bill. This bill seeks to further the provisions of the 1999 Constitution of the Republic of Nigeria by amending Section 1, subsection 1, and Section 187, subsection 1 of the Constitution. Section 142, subsection 1 of the Constitution, which is referred to as principal act, as follows, and I read with the Mr. Speaker. In election to which the foregoing provision is part of this chapter relates, the candidate for election to the office of the President shall not be deemed to be validly nominated unless he nominates another candidate as his associate from the same political party for the office of the President, who is to occupy the office of the Vice President, and that candidate should to have been duly elected to the office of the Vice President if the candidate for an election for the office of the President who elected him as such is duly elected as President, according with the provision aforesaid. A similar provision in Section 187, subsection 1, in respect of the gubernatorial election in the state level reads as follows. In any election for which the foregoing provision of this part of this chapter relates, the candidate for the office of the governor shall not deem it fit to have been validly nominated for such office unless he nominates another candidate as his for his running for the office of the who is to occupy the office of the deputy governor and that candidate shall be deemed to have been duly elected to the office of the deputy governor if the candidate who nominated him is duly elected as governor in accordance with the said. Mr. Speaker, this bill is seeking to delete these provisions and substitute them with new Section 1, subsection 1, and this Section 187, Section 1, respectively. The proposed Section 142, Section 1 will now read as follows. In any election which the foregoing of this part of this chapter relate for an election to the office of the President shall not be fit nominated unless a nominee from the same political party who contested the primary election with him as his associate for the office of the President, who occupy the office of the President, and that shall be deemed to have been duly elected to be office of the Vice President in the vice president for the election to the office of the president who has nominated him is duly elected as president in accordance with the provision of a this proposed section 187 subsection 1 which pertain to gubernatorial will now read as follows. In this section, with the foregoing provision of this part of this chapter, a candidate of the governor of the state shall not deem to have been nominated for such unless he nominates another candidate for the same political party who has jointly contested the primary election of the party as associate for his running for the office of the governor, who is to occupy of the deputy governor if the candidate who nominated him is duly elected as governor in accordance with the said provisions. Mr. Speaker, the honorable colleagues, the aim and objective of is to ensure that a president to become a vice president, the governor must participate in the primary of his party before becoming the running of the presidential candidate. In other words, the presidential candidate should nominate his running mate before the primary election of the party is conducted, and both should stand for the primary election. Mr. Speaker, these bills will have various forms to our present democracy. One, these the practice of allowing presidential or candidate to choose running mate outside the political party it belongs. Two, it will also ensure a greater and better participation of our members of the party members in deciding who will become the running mate of the presidential or gubernatorial candidate of the eventual of the office of the president or deputy governor, the case may be. The amendment will enable presidential or gubernatorial candidate very qualified, competent, acceptable candidate to be their running mate. It will have the amendment of section 142 subsection 1 and 187 subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution will start our democracy and give more credibility to elections. It will also help the president or deputy governor of more respect, not only from the president, not governor, but also from the public. We should note that all along, deputy governors have always been regarded as a mere appendage of the governors, who on have mastered their removal from the office. Lastly, the honorable colleagues, there is a philosophical which says we wait for things to happen. We always try to make it happen. But there are a lot of issues that have been happening in Nigeria, which has been leading to the withdrawal of our resources. That it is high time for us to leave the wrong track to be on the right track. Because there are a lot of lagunas in our law, exchange of the friends. There are a lot of things that we have to cover. For example, in the case of Kogi, if this kind of has been amended at the time of that incident, all the taxpayer money that has been in Kogi State, something has been received, and at the same time, look at the part of the program that has been causing, where the 5 assembly are voting against the 16, to the extent, yesterday, if you look at the yesterday, how the cause, yesterday, what's happened there, around the state. Look at the thanks that have been given to the assembly as well by the delegation sent to the state. They went there, even the money that has been spent from national assembly cannot be contributed. going there in the federal side, talking to them, which they have been completely taking the National Assembly to court. If they are not, if they have prepared for this already, if you have amended this law, and the issue of committing, wasting our fund, taxpayer money, will come. So, in speech, my honorable colleagues and Mr. Speaker, I beg your pardon, I support in passing this bill to move to this stage.
Well, I think this bill has been argued, and like I've always maintained, I have an opportunity to explain the process very well so the Nigerians will understand how bills on constitutional review works. Now, even if we pass this bill, to censure, we cannot talk about the past second reading. It's a new reference to the special ad hoc on the review of the Constitution. Because no member, it has been the practice in this House, that member authors a bill on constitutional, it is carried up to the level of vote. All bills on constitutional review must be authored, written by the special ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives on Constitutional Review. We will send these petitions here, including any petition from the public that are meant for constitutional review. They are just working materials for the special committee on constitutional review. We gather all these bills because they are in-house experts consisting of leadership consultants that are drawn from the zones of the Federation, including members of the committee. They will sit down, debate this that we are sending to them, and then debating it, they will vote on it. And if they deem in their wisdom that it is necessary for the House to take a look again on those, they will now draft those bills and submit them to the House. It is only when we are in receipt of the from our special ad hoc committee on constitutional review that we can begin to talk about we have a bill on constitutional amendment. Then thereafter, those provisions proposed by the special ad hoc committee will be subjected to debate on this floor. And we will put a question on each of the clauses, and each of those clauses must receive 30% votes of the House before it is deemed passed, before we can say we have passed it. So after that is done, it's transmitted to the Senate. Senate will concur with 2/3 majority vote as well. After that, transmitted to the state assemblies, and we must receive concurrence from the assembly before we can now say that we made the provision of the Constitution. So when things come like this, they are mere working tools for the ad hoc committee on constitutional review, and not bills in the sense of normal that will go to committee, after which you go to us and then is due for consideration. So until we have these bills drafted by our committee, special ad hoc committee on review of the 1999 Constitution, we cannot deem these bills as bills. So application for reference committee, which will be debated at that committee, there will be no need for us to waste our time debating it. And as we have done for so many other bills that seek to alter the provisions of the Constitution, I suggest that we just vote on it, pass it to the committee, who will take a look, and if they deem that it is worth our consideration, they will bring it back to us. And if wisdom, they deem it not necessary, it's buried there. So our question, and the question is that the bill be now at one time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Clerks invited to read the law. title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill from Act of the Constitution of the Federal Government of Nigeria to make it mandatory for candidates running presidential, gubernatorial offices to undergo primary elections and for other related matters.
Bill is referred to the Special Ad Hoc Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution.